Aight. It's your boy Pillar. I'm back. Let's go back into it. The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality by Dr. Cheik Anta Diop. The African quote of the day. Okay, let's go right here. Okay, we're going to start where it says the term inventor applied by Sir Leonard Woolley had discovered these tombs proved that the word world could not be justified except as a working hypothesis. On the contrary, the most ancient kings of Elam were blacks, without the slightest doubt, as attested by the monuments exhumed by uh, Delufio Foy. Many other marvels were about to be revealed, and we went from one surprise to another. In the demolition of the Sassanide wall made of the most ancient materials available locally, monuments were found dating back to the Elamite period of Susa's history. In other words, earlier than the capture of the fortress by Ashurbanipal. But here we must yield to the fall of Diulufoy. On removing a tomb placed across a raw brick wall which was part of the fortification of the Elamite gate, the workers uncovered a funeral urn. The urn was encased in a masonry covering composed of emerald bricks. These came from a panel depicting a personage dressed in a green robe with yellow, blue, white embroidery. He wore tiger skin, carried a cane or a golden spear. Most surprising of all, the personage whose lower jaw, beard, neck, and hand I found was black. His lips were thin, his beard thick. The embroidery of an archaic style seemed to be the work of the Babylonian artisans. And other Sassanid walls built on earlier material were found glazed bricks revealing 2 feet showed in gold, a very well-shaped hand, a wrist covered with bracelets. The fingers held one of those long canes that became the emblem of the sovereign power under the Archemenides. A piece of the robe bore the coat of arms of Susa, partly hidden under a tiger skin. Finally, a flowered fringe on a brown background. His head and feet were black. It was even evident that the whole decoration had been designed to blend with the dark complexion of the face. Only powerful personage had the right to carry long canes and wear bracelets. Only the governor of a fortified post could have his image embroidered on his tunic. Yet the owner of this cane, the master of this citadel, was black. It is therefore highly probable that the Elam were ruled by a black dynasty, and judging by the features of the face, already described an Ethiopian dynasty. Okay, like it's more I can say, but I want to give you too much. So, what he's saying is, this guy died Lafoy, somewhere in I think it's maybe India, Asia. There is a dynasty called the Sassanids, right? And so when he said when they went in here to remove stuff, if they were studying it, is they get to removing the ruins dating back to this Elamite period, study the Elamites of the Susa history. This guy died. Lufor said on removing the tomb across the raw brick wall, part of the fortification of the Elamite gate, they found an urn and they found this brother. They found a hand. It was a picture of a black man, a more African guy. And his hand was black, his lips were thin, embroidered in an archaic style, and it seemed to be the work of Babylonian artisans. So he's saying in the Bible, the Babylonians, if he, from his belief, had to paint this black brother, you know what I'm saying? And that he had his feet were showed in gold, very well-shaped hands. His wrists were covered with bracelets. His fingers had one of those long canes to show that this brother had power. His robe bore the coastal arm of Susa. And so, like he said, his feet, look what he say. His feet and hands were black. And so he's saying that the Elamite dynasty was a black dynasty, or judging by the features, an Ethiopian dynasty. And so, just to explain what's being said here is that in school we always talk about, we talk about Egypt a lot, which I love, but there were other dynasties that ruled as black African Moorish people. You know what I'm saying? At the Elamite dynasty, you see how he said even in Elamite, when you study it, we had gold and we were fresh and we were in power, but you will never learn about stuff like this in school. So that's why it's very important to get your own library and you can find out who you were. And like I said, I go back to he said the hand I found was black. This is this archaeologist. The hand I found was black. His feet, his hand, his head and feet were black. Showed in gold, bracelets. See, we always thought we were just slaves and broke, okay? And the only gold we had was in Africa. But you see, we had gold all over the world. And so this is your quote of the day from your boy Jpilla. I just told you about the dynasty in other parts of Asia. So this is the Elamite dynasty from Cheik Anta Diop's book, The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality. All right? You only find this on the Ancient Kushite Global Empire Media or Jpilla page. All right? Get at me. We winning, baby.